So as somebody who's designing a product, what should the most optimum product or the best product look like to you, design-wise? Aesthetics, okay. It should be aesthetic, it should be pleasing in nature. So here's the most golden rule of product design, right? Remember this. Good design is elimination. Good design is elimination, right? What do I mean by that? Most people think, we were talking about this yesterday, I think, the hike example. Yeah, hike. So most people think that good design is if you put every feature into an app. हम लोग सोचते हैं ना, अरे एक ऐसा ऐप बनाते हैं जिसमें सब कुछ हो और कोई ऐप ही नहीं चाहिए किसी को लाइफ में, सब होगा उससे, राइट? फोटो शेयरिंग, सोशल नेटवर्किंग, मैसेजिंग, कॉलिंग, सब लाइफ में सब उधर ही, ग्रोसरी भी उधर ही से हो रहा है, शादी भी वहीं पे मैच मेकिंग हो रहा है, सब उधर ही हो रहा है, लाइफ वहीं पे चल रहा है, एंड वी थिंक दैट्स द बेस्ट प्रोडक्ट. सारा फीचर है ना, हॉरिबल, इट वोंट वर्क, राइट? हाइक देख लो फॉर एग्जाम्पल. आई हेट हाइक बाय द वे, है ना? Okay. No, I like it actually. It's good. No, but okay, let's assume that there's a product which has a lot of features on it, है ना? It's horrible. I would never use it because when there are too many features on it, it's cluttered. You don't know what the product is for. And वो सब कुछ करता है, लेकिन कुछ भी ठीक से नहीं करता है, ठीक ठाक करता है सारा, right? There's no good creativity. There's no innovation. Not one of those features work perfectly and awesomely and amazingly well, right? Which is why you prefer using WhatsApp and not Hike, है ना? मैसेज करना है स्मूथ, इजी, एड्स नहीं है, कुछ नहीं है, इमोजीज है, GIF है, मैसेज डालो, स्टोरी डालो, खत्म, राइट? सब कुछ नहीं है उसमें एकदम एक ही बार में, है ना? इट्स सिंपल, इट्स स्लीक. So good design is elimination. Good design is eliminating features you don't need. It's not adding features. It's eliminating features. Good designs, aesthetics, like aesthetics and ergonomics. If you really study aesthetics and ergonomics, you'll find that the most aesthetically pleasing objects are the ones that are minimal. Minimalism is, that's why a method, it's a philosophy, right? Minimal products banate hai apan, right? Which does very few things. It is very well defined and it does it really well. बाकी जो features नहीं चाहिए हटाओ, right? And elimination can also be applied beyond features. You might eliminate user effort, minimum clicks, and minimum pages. You might eliminate latency, make it faster, right? So good design is always eliminate costs, bring it down. Elimination is key in product design. Most people don't look at product design that way, but having been there in the field, once you keep designing products, test it out, you'll realize that elimination is the golden rule. Now the question is, what will you eliminate? So it's very important to define something that is called the atomic unit. The atomic unit of your product. Okay? What is an atomic unit? It is the single most important feature of your product around which everything is designed. Everything bole to, not just your product, your business model, right? Your value chain strategy, everything on earth, life में जितना कुछ है ना regarding a product, सब कुछ revolves around the atomic unit, right? You design even your business model around your atomic unit. ठीक है? Now what is an atomic unit? So it's a feature that is most important. I'll give you an example. Facebook का atomic unit is your status message, right? Your status, what's on your mind. So when you log into Facebook, that's the first thing you see. Center of the screen, top center, what's on your mind. उसके नीचे आपको दिखता है what is on other people's mind, right? You go to your timeline, you see what was on your mind when, right? So everything is designed to push you towards making a status update, right? एक photo post करो, है ना? ये share करो, right? इस पे comment करो, right? Do a status update. Everything is designed to push that. Samjha? So that's your atomic unit. Facebook keeps everything else. Facebook doesn't put games right on your face because उसका atomic unit game नहीं है. It's an additional feature which was added later. इसलिए वो side में छुपा दिया games बोल के एक tab में. Twitter का atomic unit is its tweet, right? So atomic units may not necessarily be a feature. Sometimes in a system or in a product, your atomic unit could be things like speed, right? You want it to be the fastest service possible. ठीक है? I'll give an example. When Google's product designer was making the G Suite, right? The G Suite is basically उन लोगों का business tools, है ना? तो there were already business tools existing out there और भी product companies offer कर रहे थे. लेकिन उन लोगों ने क्या सोचा ना, हम लोग अपना pricing इतना simple रखेंगे ना, लोग आएंगे, देखेंगे, decision लेंगे, निकल लेंगे. इससे पहले कि बाकी साइट में जाके वो लोग देखे, कंपेयर करे प्राइस, फीचर, कौन सा ले, कौन सा नहीं, उतना टाइम ही नहीं लगाना है, जल्दी आएगा, करेंगे, निकल लेंगे. Right? So there is one primary atomic unit you define, and you can also define other units along with it. But they are not a atomic. They are supposed to support it, like other things which are important to you. So when you are designing a product, you list your features, right? You do that, है ना? सबसे पहले start with defining your atomic unit. Start with that. What is it? Correct? So I'll give an example. Y Center, है ना? Y Center का atomic unit, our atomic unit is the programs. The courses, the programs that we have. Everything in the company, every product we make, every marketing we do, every advertising campaign we have, every new member we bring into the company, new teammate we add, advisory board member lete, sab kuch is designed in order to make sure that we either have more programs or more people take our programs, or our programs can be implemented in more places on earth. It's designed for that. Hannah, everything revolves around it. Do you guys know about Akshay Patra Foundation? Have you heard of it? Does anybody know what it is? Sorry? It's an NGO. What does it do? Yeah, they provide free midday meal service in schools. So I was invited to visit Akshay Patra Foundation's facility in Hubli last year. Hai na? So I went around there. You know what? In Akshay, I'll give an example of how innovative you can be when you've really defined your product well, when you know your atomic unit well. So if you walk into the kitchen ना, वो लोग क्या, उन लोगों को क्या करना था? They wanted to provide midday meals, है ना? Quality you can maintain, but their meals were going to go out for free, which means that they had to reduce their operation cost, है ना? If the per plate price of what they're making is really high, right? Then they will not be able to sustain if they keep giving it for free. Because they depend on donations, right? Funding पे depend करते हैं वो लोग, है ना? So how is the cost of a plate calculated? It's calculated not just through the cost of raw materials and stuff, but also electricity bill कितना लगता है, एक दिन का operation में electricity bill कितना आया, and how many plates of food were prepared on that day. That also features in salary कितना देना पड़ रहा है for people to work on a shift and an entire day. That is how you guys will also decide on the cost of your product. Right? All of these things you take into account. It's not just कितना पैसा खर्चा किया microcontroller खरीदने में. It's not just that. When you put it into production, make it a company, you have to take these things into account. So their goal was to reduce the cost per plate, है ना? But also maintain quality. So they thought about how do we maintain the cost. हम लोग अपना पूरा process का एक अगर atomic unit बनाते हैं, उन लोग का atomic unit is obviously the plate of food, है ना? But they also thought process का atomic unit बनाए तो क्या कर सकते हैं? If you walk into the kitchen ना, उन लोग का kitchen कैसा है पता है? 3 floors पे है the entire facility, right? 3 floor पे है. They use gravity to manufacture stuff, not electricity. तो top floor पे ना raw materials, raw rice, raw dal, raw vegetables डालते हैं, right? And on every floor, just gravity just pulls it down shoots, है ना? एक row पे कट जाता है वो, ठीक है? फिर next एक floor पे मसाला mix हो जाता है, boil हो जाता है, दूसरे floor पे next step of the process होता है. Ground floor पे you just open a lid and the prepared sambar or the prepared rice comes into a tiffin and you close it and you take it. That's it, right? Gravity pulls everything down, है ना? Electricity तुम सोचो कितना बचा सकते हो, because they define their atomic unit, so they made their entire kitchen. Their kitchen is their atomic unit. Make it efficient, right? Reduce emissions, है ना? Reduce electricity का bill. सब कुछ reduce करो and also maintain quality. So the people there, they do quality testing, but the entire kitchen functions in a way which is eco-friendly. And they have the blueprints, their data, everything is available on the internet because they believe that world hunger cannot be solved alone. So if you want to set up a facility at Akshay Patra, you have data there, you can go and talk to them and they will tell you how they set it up, and then you can go and set up one of your own. Right? But think about it, using gravity instead of electricity to process food. That's innovation, right? Because they knew what to define, they knew what was important to them. They didn't try to do everything. Right? So you guys also, for your products, define your atomic unit. What is it? What is it that is most important to you? If you make a process out of it, आपको क्या चाहिए? Right? You have one atomic unit and then also try and describe an aspect of that atomic unit which is most important, right? For example, do you want to focus on speed? Do you want to focus on efficiency? Right? If you had to choose between speed and efficiency, what would you choose? क्या प्रोडक्ट आपका स्लो हो सकता है थोड़ा, लेकिन हमेशा 100% of the time it will always give you the correct output and never an error? Is that okay if it takes 5 times more time to process it? Or would you prefer it to give you the output like as quickly as possible where there is say a 98% chance of it being correct. Would you like that? You have to define it. And define करने में कौन मदद करेगा? These aspects, customer. कि चाहिए क्या है, उसके पास टाइम है कि नहीं लाइफ में, है ना? तो एस्पेक्ट्स डिफाइन करने के लिए थोड़ा कस्टमर हेल्प करता है, बट यू हैव टू चूज एज एन इंजीनियर, एज अ डिजाइनर, आपका एटॉमिक यूनिट क्या है. वट एवर इज नॉट नेसेसरी ना, वट एवर इज नॉट अ पार्ट ऑफ दैट एटॉमिक यूनिट, एलिमिनेट इट, रिमूव इट, नहीं चाहिए वो, हटाओ उसको साइड में. You can have it as an add-on feature. Maybe access to information is something that is required. Right? It's an access to information होना चाहिए. या फिर maybe updated information होना चाहिए. What is the difference between them? Access to information is right. Every stakeholder जिसको वो पहुंचना चाहता है, सब लोगों के पास access रहेगा वो information को, even if the information is 5 minutes old. 5 मिनट पुराना information है, लेकिन access सबको है, ताकि जब 5 मिनट बाद वो information update हो, तो everybody gets to know about it. Or he could choose to make sure that the information is updated every fraction of a second, ताकि जितने भी लोगों को access हो, उन लोगों को real time information पे access हो. Like if only 50% of the stakeholder population has access, all 50% of them have access to latest information. He could choose to work on that. तो उसका system का design वैसे vary करेगा ना. It's not the same thing. Giving people access and making sure it's real time. You can't do both initially. Limited, why are we defining atomic unit? Why are we pushing it? Because as entrepreneurs, you have limited resources. You can't do everything. You have to start with something, na? So MVP में हमेशा atomic unit से start करने का, which is most important. Now, something that will help you define your atomic unit is, sometimes, not always, is that when we did stakeholder mapping, you saw that कुछ verticals में सबसे ज़्यादा stakeholders घुस जा रहे थे, है ना? सबसे ज़्यादा. So, for example, you identify a stakeholder. If you can somehow do something with that stakeholder, सबसे ज़्यादा cause effect को you could address, है ना? You could also look at it for atomic unit. कौन सा atomic unit पे focus करने से सबसे ज़्यादा stakeholders या सबसे ज़्यादा cause effects address हो सकते हैं, right? किस पे सबसे ज़्यादा? अगर आपने access to information पे focus किया, how many people are being affected by that? Right? How many causes and effects are being are you being able to address by focusing on that? Versus if you try to focus on real time information, तो फिर कितने लोग affect हो रहे हैं उससे, right? कितने cause and effects को आप पहुंच पा रहे हो? That is how it helps you think if you're getting stuck. So these guys are building a platform, right? A platform that has information, researchers, farmers, है ना? So whenever you work on a project like that, whenever you deal with it, so इन लोग का atomic unit is information, right? It's information because you take information out of that system, बाकी कुछ काम ही नहीं, सब बेकार है. Information ही main है, information लेना देना, है ना? Remember this, write it down if you want to. When you work on information systems, right? So this we discovered while working on information systems ourselves, designing them. Information systems का 3 part होता है: information aggregation, information discovery, and information delivery. What does that mean? Suppose they collect data from researchers, सब कुछ latest data है, ठीक है, इन लोग के पास, and there's a farming community. If the farming community does not know that the data exists, it is as good as that data not being there in the first place. बराबर? अगर data है इन लोग के पास, कोई discovery नहीं कर पाया वो data को, तो data होने का फायदा क्या है? So information should be discoverable. You should be able to discover that information. Information discovery के लिए plan करना पड़ता है. How will people find us? ठीक है? Information delivery is, चलो फार्मिंग कम्युनिटी को पता चल गया इन्फॉर्मेशन है, राइट? एंड यहाँ पे इन्फॉर्मेशन है एक्चुअली में, दोनों को पता है इसके बारे में, बट देयर इज नो वे टू डिलीवर दैट इन्फॉर्मेशन. कैसे डिलीवर करोगे? फार्मर्स लोग प्लेटफॉर्म पे तो लॉग इन नहीं करेंगे, है ना? उन लोगों को आता नहीं है कंप्यूटर चलाना, तो डिलीवर कैसे होगा? उन लोगों के पास कंप्यूटर है नहीं घर पे. हाउ विल यू डिलीवर दैट इन्फॉर्मेशन? दैट इज समथिंग यू नीड टू फिगर आउट. एंड द थर्ड इज इन्फॉर्मेशन एग्रीगेशन. If you know that there are 10 sources where possible data sets exist, but if you can't get all of that data and information aggregated into one platform, it's of no use, right? Newspaper agencies all 3 चीजें करते हैं, right? There are events happening, they have to make sure that they have information regarding all the events, so they send out reporters, है ना? Tip दे सकते हैं आप कॉल करके, वैसे aggregate करते हैं information. Discovery होता है, there are ads, they go out, you know, you see it on TV, blah blah blah. And delivery is through maybe an app, Times of India ka app, or maybe as an actual newspaper. That's how it's delivered to you, that information. Now let's talk about how you measure. Atomic unit है, ठीक है? How will you measure whether your system, your solution is working or not? उसको measure भी तो करना पड़ेगा, right? I'll give you an example. Y Center is a company that has programs, and how do we measure the outcome of a program? हम लोग को कैसे पता चलेगा कि whether you guys learned anything or not? How will we know that? Will we take tests? It could be. We see your marks, and that is our measurement. What else? Maybe if we were a company giving career coaching, something like that, there are companies, they will measure on the basis of कितने लोगों को jobs मिलता है ना? 100 program पढ़ाया, कितने लोगों को job मिला? That's how they measure if the program is working or not. Correct? Y Center as a company measures it on the basis of how many successful projects come out as a result of our programs directly. Right? So if you've made 100 programs, and as a result of that, if you've created 35 full-time startups and 10 social innovation projects, it gives us a measurement कि हाँ चलो इतने programs से इतने निकल रहे हैं. So that's how we are doing. ठीक है? So define how you're going to measure it. कैसे measure करोगे आप? It's called a KPI, key performance indicator. Right? What is that metric which shows the performance? You know, your KPI could be maybe number of daily active users. You make an app, how many users are active on it daily? ये आपका KPI. That's how you're measuring how your app is. That's how you measure how well your UI and UX is designed maybe. अगर आपका atomic unit of your app is UI UX, मस्त बनाना है उसको, even if you know, or it could be functionality. थोड़ा गंदा दिखता है लेकिन functionally मस्त है ना? वैसे भी होते हैं. And how do you measure it? Maybe you measure it by daily active users. समझा ना? So it is important to define your KPI, your key performance indicator. There can be many KPIs, by the way, key performance indicators. Then we have something called performance factors, right? Key performance factors that you define for features. तो मान लो आपका एक product है, उसके बहुत सारे features हैं, है ना? And say your product's KPI is number of users, correct? Let's take a web app for example. आपका KPI is number of new users. ठीक है, कितने नए यूजर्स आ रहे हैं, यही आपका KPI, नथिंग मोर देन दैट. नाउ यू हैव फीचर्स. व्हाट फीचर्स? यू हैव अ साइन अप पेज एक्सपीरियंस, है ना? यू हैव अ डैशबोर्ड, यू हैव अ मैसेजिंग सर्विस इनसाइड दैट, फोटो शेयरिंग, ठीक है, जो भी है, ठीक है. एक्चुअली न्यू यूजर्स इज अ वेरी बैड KPI. डेली एक्टिव यूजर्स इज अ बेटर KPI. 100 लोग साइन किए, कोई यूज नहीं कर रहा, क्या फर्क पड़ता है? डेली एक्टिव यूजर्स यूजुअली वेब एप्स के लिए ज़्यादा काम आता है. सो डेली एक्टिव यूजर्स आपका KPI, की परफॉर्मेंस इंडिकेटर. हाउ मेनी डेली एक्टिव यूजर्स है इज हाउ वेल योर प्रोडक्ट इज डूइंग. एंड यू हैव फीचर्स, साइन अप एक्सपीरियंस, फ्रेंड रिक्वेस्ट भेजना, फोटो शेयर करना, ठीक है, मैसेज करना लोगों को, राइट? की परफॉर्मेंस फैक्टर क्या होता है? यू हैव KPI फॉर एवरी फीचर. हर फीचर के लिए आप कर सकते हो. बेसिकली आप क्या करते हो? आप सोचते हो ऑन अ स्केल ऑफ 0 to 100 लोगों को मैसेज करना, ठीक है. इफ यू पुट अ फीचर वेयर पीपल कैन मैसेज ईच अदर ऑन अ स्केल ऑफ 0 to 100, हाउ मच इज इट गोइंग टू अफेक्ट योर KPI? योर KPI इज डेली एक्टिव यूजर्स, करेक्ट? इफ यू कैन मैसेज अदर पीपल, मोर पीपल विल कम ऑन द प्लेटफॉर्म, है ना? बिकॉज यू मैसेज समवन, वो भी आएगा एक्टिव टू रिप्लाई टू दैट मैसेज. डेली एक्टिव यूजर का काउंट बढ़ रहा है, विच मीन्स आई वुड गिव इट समथिंग अबाउट 97, 90s में मैं दूंगा उसको, 95, 96, 97, वैसा कुछ स्कोर देने वाला हूँ मैं. हर फीचर को आप एक स्कोर दे सकते हो कि आपका जो मेन मेजरमेंट का यूनिट है उसके हिसाब से आप कितना, हाउ मच कैन यू स्कोर इट आउट ऑफ 0 to 100, राइट? वंस यू डन योर स्कोरिंग फॉर ऑल योर फीचर्स, देन आप यू कैन डू दिस फॉर एनीथिंग ना. कोई भी प्रोडक्ट का फीचर्स होता ही है, कुछ भी उसका क्या क्या है. आप एक्वागार्ड भी बेचते हो, उसमें भी होता है ना सब कुछ, राइट? देयर इज एन इंडिकेटर टू टेल यू कि कब फिल्टर हो गया है ना? एक फिल्टर इन इटसेल्फ है वहाँ पे लगाया हुआ, राइट? वो इट शुड बी पोर्टेबल, कि आप घर चेंज कर रहे हो तो ऐसा नहीं कि ट्रक बुलाना पड़े उसको ले जाने के लिए, आप खुद ही ले जा पाओ, है ना? दीज आर ऑल फीचर्स, पोर्टेबल, है ना? देयर इज अ फिल्टर इन इटसेल्फ देयर. यू कैन गिव इट अ स्कोर कि आपका इफ योर atomic unit is quality of water, how much does it affect? You know, how much does it really affect? Or yeah, your atomic unit is quality of water, but your KPI would be something like how many people are maybe using AquaGuard or something like that. You know, and then you define कि अच्छा कैसे इसको स्कोर दे सकते हैं. So you get a list of features and you also get a list of KP, मतलब उसका factors भी मिलता है आपको. How important is it for your performance indicator? ठीक है? And then you can select maybe the top 20 features, and you know that is what you need to focus on. Those are your most important features because they're central to your performance indicator. वो central है ना, that is closest to your atomic unit, that's closest to what you want to achieve through the product, and you want to put a lot of focus on doing that well. तो अगर आपके पास लिमिटेड टाइम है, लिमिटेड रिसोर्सेज है, थिंक अबाउट इट, द वेब ऐप एग्जांपल. इफ यू हैड लिमिटेड टाइम एंड रिसोर्सेज, बहुत कम टाइम कम पैसे में आपको बनाना है फर्स्ट वर्जन ऑफ इट, वुड यू रियली मेक द मैसेजिंग सर्विस और वुड यू मेक द कोड अपलोड करने वाला? इवन मे बी यू लव द कोड वाला फीचर, क्या मस्त दिख रहा है वो पेज, यही करता है लाइक एज कोडर्स, राइट? बट यू वुड डिस्कार्ड इट बिकॉज इट्स मोर इंपॉर्टेंट टू पुट मैसेजिंग अप देयर, क्योंकि उससे डायरेक्टली योर केपीआई को ज़्यादा वैल्यू मिल रहा है, डेली एक्टिव यूजर्स ज़्यादा बढ़ने का चांसेस उसमें है ना? So that's how you can define, analyze a product, its features, give it scores. Pure water is your atomic unit, okay? And then your key performance indicator, your KPI could, so your atomic unit के साथ एक aspect लगाते हो तुम, है ना? तो तुम्हारा प्रोग्राम, सॉरी, तुम्हारा प्योर वाटर है. Are you going to focus on quality? Like सबसे quality pure water अगर कम लोगों को भी मिले तो चलेगा, लेकिन must quality का मिलना चाहिए. Will you focus on quantity? Moderately pure water should reach out to as many people as possible. That also could be your goal, है ना? तुम एक atomic unit और एक aspect define करते हो. अभी ये पूरा चीज हो रहा है कि नहीं, कैसे समझ में आएगा? You could actually do it by say number of households that have access to your purified water. That could be a key performance indicator, right? Number of households. अभी key performance factor क्या होता है ना, तुम्हारा उसमें जितना भी चीजें हैं, तुम filtration करते हो, ठीक है, तुम garbage रोकते हो, जितना भी तुम्हारा features है, हर feature को with your KPI is say number of households that have access to pure water, तुम्हारा वाला pure water, right? If that is your KPI, your indicator, तुम सारे features list करोगे. एक तो KPI को भूल जाओ कुछ देर के लिए, सारे जितना features है, जितना aspects है तुम्हारा project में, whatever you can think of, right? सारा डालो वहाँ पे. Like those are features of your project, of your system, of your service, जो भी. अभी you give it a weightage 0 to 100 के बीच में, कि तुमको क्या लगता है in order to achieve your target of maximum number of houses having access to pure water, right? से उसके लिए filtration net लगाना कितना ज़रूरी है, से 95. फिर तुम देखते हो कि maybe building a community around an install a filtration installment, right? तुमने एक नदी के एक जगह पे एक लगाया है, you've actually put in infrastructure there. Now building an actual community, say of volunteers, या फिर taking training, है ना? ट्रेनिंग देना लोगों को, वर्कशॉप्स करवाना कि गार्बेज कैसे डिस्पोज करोगे, वो तुम्हारे लिए कितना जरूरी है, राइट? तो तुम उसको सारा वेटेज देते हो, तो तुमको पता चलता है उससे कि तुम्हारा तुम जो गोल डिफाइन किए हो, वो गोल को अचीव करने के लिए कौन कौन से फीचर्स इज मोर इम्पोर्टेंट. तो तुम्हारे पास अगर लिमिटेड टाइम है, इफ यू सी कि लाइफ में इतना ही टाइम और पैसा है कि वी कैन ओनली फोकस ऑन से 5 थिंग्स राइट नाउ, यू नो विच 5 टू टेक, राइट? समटाइम्स वी आर सो टेम्प्टेड ना एज डिजाइनर्स, अपन को लगता है अरे इस पे काम करते हैं, ये ज्यादा अच्छा लग रहा है, राइट? That especially happens in web-based products and services, right? If you're a designer, you'll want to spend a lot of time making a fancy UI UX, you know, but maybe right now you should be spending your time building a very robust database, right? Shifting from relational databases to non-relational, maybe because you're trying to build a social network, so the complexity of interactions is going to increase. So in the next 3 weeks, if you don't shift to a non-relational database, UI UX थोड़ा खराब भी हुआ, अगर पीछे का वो shift नहीं हुआ तो it will crash. But sometimes you don't focus on it ना, because तुमको लगता है अरे कुछ मस्त बनाते हैं क्या, सामने में दिखने को मिलेगा. Which is why it's important to define key performance factors.